Hey everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records, who is in the mood for some new releases because it is time once again for our weekly check into some of the goodies headed to an independent record store near you. As we do each week, it's just the tip of the iceberg as far as the new releases go because the list is just way too big to get to all of them in this brief video. So if you have a chance, please feel free to click over on our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. From there, you can look at all of this week's new releases, as well as everything coming up in the near future and everything from the not-so-distant past. We'll also put a link directly to all of this week's stuff specifically in the description below, so you can narrow down that search if need be. But without any further ado, let's dive into the massive pile of reissues and one or two new releases of note for the week of Friday, August 11th, 2023. Right out of the gate, we've got three variations of a brand new one from the group The Hives. This is called The Death of Randy Fitzsimmons. Our description gets really kind of interesting on this one. It says, the undisputed icons of rock and roll, The Hives, are back, channeling their electrifying energy of the group's greatest hits with their first new album in over 10 years. Here's where it gets interesting. The colossal new album, according to the description, reignites the band's love in arresting fashion, exploring the disappearance of the band's mysterious sixth member, Randy Fitzsimmons, even leading them to dig up his grave. And what they found inside the casket is what you can now hear on the record. Go fetch. All right. Three variations, as we mentioned, of The Hives. Brand new one, The Death of Randy Fitzsimmons. A black vinyl version clocking in at a suggested price of about $25. Then we have an indie exclusive on white vinyl. It's being called Off-White Opaque Vinyl. That one listing for about $27. And then finally there is a Vinyl Voice Neon Violet version. This one also listing for about $27. Not quite a new release, but we'll give it this. This is called Chrome Dreams, and it's from Neil Young. Now, Chrome Dreams is another of Neil Young's legendary Lost albums, a finished album that, for various reasons, Neil decided not to release at the time. So the recent release of Homegrown and A Toast also fell into this category. So Chrome Dreams now features 12 songs recorded between 1974 and 1977. So this Lost album, the third from Neil Young, called Chrome Dreams, double LP on black vinyl, coming in at a list price of $50. And while we're on expensive records, let's cross our fingers on this one. And they're going out of their way to say that this is an analog. But we are getting a Mobile Fidelity, a MoFi reissue of the Eagles' Hotel California. The description goes out of the way to say that this has been mastered from the original analog master tapes and pressed on MoFi Super Vinyl. The description goes on to say that this is strictly limited and numbered. That's where they got into trouble before. So Mobile Fidelity's Ultradisc 1-Step 180 gram on 45 RPM double LP. This box set ensures that you will want to permanently check in and never leave. So the Mobile Fidelity and analog stressed Hotel California box set coming in at a list price of about $170. A whole lot of stuff on the reissue front, as we mentioned, so let's dive into this for Friday, August 11th, 2023. Starting off with a 50th anniversary of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, but this is the motion picture, not the album. The description says that David Bowie retired Ziggy Stardust, his most famous alter ego, in front of 5,000 stunned fans at London's Hammersmith Odeon. Now, the fully restored film and soundtrack will be released for the first time for the 50th anniversary of that legendary show. So this vinyl release of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, the motion picture, the 50th anniversary edition, looks to be a double LP on gold vinyl with some cool inserts, coming in at a list price of about $45. Headed over to the Big Apple now, we've got Dawn of the Dolls. This is from the New York Dolls, coming from Cleopatra Records on pink and black splatter vinyl. The description says that this is the first ever studio recordings made by the groundbreaking, gender-bending punk troupe, the New York Dolls, recorded prior to their massively important 1973 debut album. So Dawn of the Dolls on pink and black splatter from Cleopatra, as we mentioned, coming in at a list price of $29 or $30, roundabout there. And speaking of the New York Dolls, we've got something from Johnny Thunders. This is also coming from Cleopatra. It's called Finally Alone, the Sticks and Stones tapes on yellow and pink vinyl. The description says that this is an ultra-rare demo collection from New York Dolls guitarist Johnny Thunders, made just prior to his passing in 1991. This release includes a bonus 7-inch featuring a brand new mix of You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory by modern rock retro stars the Corettes, plus 2 other B-sides in there. So Johnny Thunders, Finally Alone, the Sticks and Stones demo tapes, coming in at a list price of about $40. Up next is a trio from Ace Frehley, and these are all strictly limited according to our description. Not much else to go on in this other than to tell you that Spaceman is on clear and grape vinyl, a double LP, limited 180 gram as we mentioned, a half and half collection. So this one is on half grape and half clear vinyl in a gatefold jacket. 45 RPM, have to stress that for those of you who are annoyed by that on a 12-inch record, but only 750 copies of this release are being pressed. That's going to be about the same for Ace Frehley's Space Invader, a split as well, coming on clear and tangerine vinyl, also limited to just 750 copies of that release. By the way, this one coming in at a list price of $45, as is the Spaceman reissue, $45 as well. And then thirdly, we have Anomaly, this one on clear and neon green split, also limited to 750 copies only of that 180 gram vinyl. This one listing a little bit more, coming in at a suggested price of $50, but that is a double LP as well. So check out each of those 3 of the Ace Frehley reissues on split vinyl and coming to you via a very limited release for each of them. Next up is a reissue from UFO. This is called Walk on Water. The description says that this is the long-awaited and much requested reissue of Walk on Water, UFO's excellent 1995 reunion album of their classic 1970s lineup. This one includes a bonus 7-inch of 2 fan favorites revisited, meaning that they've been recreated for the 7-inch though. So Walk on Water coming on Haze vinyl and includes a bonus 7-inch, this coming from Cleopatra Records by the way, and it lists for around $40. Come My Fanatics is up next, this one from the group Electric Wizard. A very brief description, but it says it's double green colored vinyl pressing of a 1997 release, skull-smashing drugged doom music from beyond the grave, a true masterpiece. So Electric Wizard, Come My Fanatics on clear green vinyl, listing for about $36. Next up is a pair of reissues from The Cult, following a couple of previous ones. We get Sonic Temple and Ceremony. Sonic Temple looks to be on clear green vinyl. This is an anniversary edition, by the way. Double LP, that one listing for about $40. And Ceremony coming on red and blue vinyl. This also a double LP, and this one also listing for about $40. So some good alternative music coming from The Cult with their reissues. Here's another reissue from The Smiths, and it is their self-titled The Smiths. The description does add to that this has been digitally remastered, and this is the 1984 debut album from the legendary British quartet. Coming from Rhino Records, this one listing for about $25. We're also getting another repressing of They Might Be Giants and Flood. What a great, fun album this one is. Flood is the 3rd studio album by the Brooklyn-based alternative rock duo They Might Be Giants, originally released in 1990. This one generated 3 big singles, Birdhouse in Your Soul, Istanbul, not Constantinople, and Twisting. Just try to get that Istanbul out of your head now that I mentioned it. The album is generally considered to be the band's definitive release. I'll argue against that, but it is their best-selling and most recognizable album to date. So They Might Be Giants on 180 gram black vinyl, this reissue coming from Idlewild Recordings and listing for about $24. We also have another reissue from the Sugar Cubes. This is Life's Too Good. This was the debut studio album by the Icelandic alternative rock group, of course featuring Björk in there as well, originally released in 1988. This reissue will list for about $30. Next up is a pair of reissues from the Donnas. We get their self-titled The Donnas, which was originally released in 1997. And we can also look forward to American Teenage Rock and Roll Machine, the first self-titled one coming on clear vinyl, black and tan according to the description, so it's probably a swirl mix in there. A single LP coming from Real Gone Music, this one listing for about $32. And then the reissue of American Teenage Rock and Roll Machine, also a single LP coming from Real Gone Music, this one listing for about $30. Next up is another great one from Rhino. This is Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and their iconic album, The Message. The description says that this is a limited Bronx ice-colored vinyl to celebrate hip-hop at 50 with this definitive rap classic. This genre-defining debut studio album features the powerful title track, The Message. So Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, a reissue of The Message on colored vinyl, coming in at a list price of about $25. Here is a pair from Music on Vinyl, so we'll take the release date kind of as it is, because typically with a store like ours, the MOV stuff does run a week or two after the fact. But first off, we've got the Psych group Velvet Fog, they're self-titled, coming on 180-gram translucent green vinyl. This one is a limited edition of 750 individually numbered copies on that colored vinyl from the psych rock band from the late 60s, Birmingham scene, Velvet Fog. The description goes on to say that despite positive reviews at the time, the album did not achieve expected commercial success, leading to the band's breakup after that single LP. But today, the original version of that album is highly sought after by collectors. So this MOV version could well be a good get, simply because of its tremendously limited nature. So Velvet Fog from Music on Vinyl on translucent green and white marble color, coming in at a list price of about $45. Also coming from Music on Vinyl is a reissue of Andiamo from the group Authority Zero, a limited edition of 1,000 individually numbered copies on gold-colored vinyl. This coming from the Arizona punk rock band Authority Zero. It's their second studio album, and the description goes on to say it showcases their reggae and skate punk style. And this includes, by the way, a very cool cover of Walla Voodoo's Mexican Radio. So this reissue from Authority Zero from Music on Vinyl coming in at a list price of $45. We've also got a pair of Verve by Request reissues as well. First up being The New Standard from Herbie Hancock. This double 180-gram black vinyl pressing was originally released in 1996 and is now available for the first time on vinyl. The New Standard features songs by Stevie Wonder, Prince, Sade, Nirvana, and getting more creative, inspired and swinging jazz takes from Herbie and his world-class band. So a double LP Verve by Request series of Herbie Hancock's The New Standard, coming in at a list price a little hefty of about $55. And also from that Verve by Request series, we've got a reissue of Wayne Shorter's Footprints Live. This live album, released on vinyl, by the way, for the very first time, is made up of 3 European tour dates from 2001. Double LP black vinyl Footprints Live by Wayne Shorter, coming in at a list price of about $55 also. And wrapping us up for the week, a couple of very interesting releases. First up is David Byrne along with Fatboy Slim and the album Here Lies Love, this one coming from None Such Records. The description says that David Byrne and Fatboy Slim's acclaimed 2010 album, Here Lies Love, receives its first ever vinyl reissue to coincide with a new production opening on Broadway this summer. Here Lies Love is a double-disc song cycle, and the description says it's improbably poignant, decidedly surreal, and surprisingly thought-provoking. I would expect nothing else from the likes of Fatboy Slim along with David Byrne. This one, by the way, also features vocal turns from such stars as Tori Amos and the B-52's Kate Pearson. Byrne also works with rising indie rockers St. Vincent and My Brightest Diamond, as well as a host of others. So David Byrne and Fatboy Slim's reissue of Here Lies Love, coming in at a list price of about $40. And finally, this week, we've got a great reissue from The Shat. Yeah, it is William Shatner live. This one coming on silver vinyl from Cleopatra Records. The description says that Captain Kirk, aka William Shatner, boldly takes you for a ride around the cosmos in the mind of this classic 1977 recording from his one-man show. Performed before a delighted audience at Hofstra University in New York in 1977, this exhilarating presentation finds Shatner dramatically reciting poetry, pondering deep philosophical issues, and engaging his devoted fans with humor, pathos, and of course, bravado. Available on vinyl for the first time since 1978. I'm not certain there's any music on this. We'll have to do a little bit more digging, but it is a live performance from the Shat himself. It's coming on a double LP on silver vinyl with what looks to be a cool Captain Kirk insert as well. So William Shatner's live, coming in at a list price of about $40. And that is a quick check of some of the new releases headed our way for Friday, August 11th, 2023. If you're local and you see something you'd like, please contact us here at the store and we'll get that pre-order in for you. If you're not local, not a problem. Head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. From there, you can peruse all of the selections available not only for this upcoming week, but for everything from the past and into the future releases coming up. Don't forget, we'll also put a link directly to all of this week's new releases in the description below, so if you want to narrow down your search, you can do that as well. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and we will talk to you next time from Radio Wasteland.